Bonnet de douche, Duke. Bonnet de douche. They speak
Good
French in Belgium, don't they?
I don't know what that was, but I'm not sure. Well, whatever it was, you butchered it. Let's put it that way.
Apologies for those of you that can hear my dog barking. It's fireworks night. What can I do? It is what it is. Anyway, I'll get this.
I've got an idea.
Steady. She's a member of the family. Behave yourself.
Hey, to be honest, listen, this ain't doing nothing. This is sealed. So for anyone who's worried, it's just a replica. It's been decommissioned. Is the word I'm looking for. So
no dogs were harmed in the filming of this stream on Forged from Iron. Anyway,
depending on how this evening goes, hippos might be.
Steady. She's not here, actually. I'll explain in a minute. Don't forget, guys, as usual, you know the rules. Drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Now, they were molesting the bell the other day.
And also bashing it.
And then they were bashing it. What are they doing today?
I just think they should. Today, we're going to go normal, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with just
bullshit.
Just a click of the bell. Just a normal click. That's all you got to do, right?
A normal click.
Nothing fancy. Unlike me in my waistcoat.
There's nothing normal round here. Say normal.
Have you seen
What's
that?
normal?
Have you seen that? I haven't been normal since probably day one, to be fair. So
there you go. Luke, we had a match yesterday, which you and I both were watching together in your lovely pub. Which I think I've got a little. Hang on, let's give it a plug. And I tell you what, actually, before we go too much further, Duke, you've got something going on tomorrow at the pub, haven't you?
I do indeed. So
yeah,
anyone local, anyone about within reasonable distance, like I'm not asking you to travel down from eastern Siberia or something, but we've got it's a military veterans day. It's in aid of the charity Care for Veterans. Basically, we've got quite a lot going on. We've got a big raffle going on. We've had a lot of stuff donated to us from regulars, and the staff have bought some stuff in, and local businesses have donated some bits. We've actually got a couple of cracking prizes, including a replica-sized helmet of
helmets.
Esteban, Renault Formula One driver. It's a mini.
That's what helmet.
Mini replica crash helmet, Robert. To behave yourself.
Okay. So you were talking about bells earlier.
Yeah, right. So we've got that donated by Renault, along with a few pit crew baseball caps. We've also had a smashing donation, Rob, actually, from Ebbsfleet Football Club. So I know local non-league side have actually donated a signed, a first team squad signed jersey.
Oh wow!
That they've donated to us. Why is my internet playing up now? So they've donated this football shirt to us, and we've also got loads of prizes. We also have yes, I do like it. I've been at work, Andy. We've also got Frank Harper of Lock, Stock and Snatch fame. He'll be with us tomorrow as well.
Football Factory as well, wasn't he?
Still here?
Yeah.
Football Factory, yes.
Yep, he was in Football Factory.
So he's here. We've got the Mayor of Dartford. We have the MP, and we have some military World War II regalia, uniforms, etc. Well, hopefully, if he can get them out of storage in time. Weapons. You saw a couple last night, Rob, at the table.
I did.
You saw
grenades.
Saw the grenades that he bought in. So we've got those, and we've also got Siobhan Terrell and Mark Smith of Antiques Roadshow fame.
Oh,
they are coming down to give free appraisals. I say free appraisals. We're going to try and get people to donate when they have an appraisal, obviously. They're going to do appraisals on military and World War I and II, memorabilia and stuff. So medals and uniforms and stuff like this. They're going to do free appraisals. So, with a bit of luck, it's going to be a good day. We're looking to raise over 500 quid. It's our first go at it, and hopefully we'll make it a yearly thing.
All for a fantastic cause, ladies and gentlemen. So, if any of you are at a bit of a loose end tomorrow,
veterans.
Yeah, it starts midday, isn't it, Duke? Duke?
It does. We're going to kick off. We're going to pretty much kick off as soon as we open. I'm here.
Yep, it's all right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yes, going to kick off as soon as we open the pub, and hopefully we'll be going on all day. We've had a fantastic an outcome actually. The DJ, we've managed to get a DJ at very short notice due to my one not being able to do it. He's stepped up to the plate for a 7-hour jobby at discounted rate. So that's good for us. He's going to come in at 5:30 and play through to the evening. So we should have a good night for it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. Well, anyone that's at a bit of a loose end tomorrow, and if you're not a million miles away from Dartford area and you fancy maybe putting a few coins into a very, very worthwhile cause, that's where you need to go. So, Duke will serve you a pint with his fair hands and his fair maidens, his barmaids, buxom, blonde, blue-eyed. No, they're not, are they? They're not. I'm trying to sell it for you.
No. Listen, come on down. It should be fun. I'm just gonna take a sip of my tea.
Wow, hang on. That looks incredibly like the Forge from Iron logo, Duke.
I'm glad you noticed, Rob. If I just bring this a little bit closer.
Where did you get that? Can I have a look at the other side, please, Duke? Let's have a look at the other. Let's rotate that around. Oh, that's a QR code, isn't it?
And it is. It takes you directly to our YouTube page.
No.
I think you should get one, Rob. I think they're cracking.
I think I ought to.
Oh, look at that. That's strange.
As if by magic.
Strange enough.
Wait for London buses and then 2 of them turn up at once. Actually, I got 4 of them in the end, didn't I?
You did. I have one currently sitting downstairs, waiting for me to abuse it downstairs in the pub to see, the quality and the conditions of such a lovely product. I do believe you had a massive hand in this, Rob.
Might have had something to do with it.
I mean, you can't. Not a massive hand in it, but
Well, the plan is that we're obviously going to road test it, aren't we? We're going to put it through the dishwasher and we're going to use it and abuse it. No, absolutely none, Walshy. You've well spotted. We're going to use it and abuse it.
In all fairness, if we're going to do plug-in, it's going to go well next to my young Jake Cox cup that I have from West Ham Unofficial. It will go quite nicely next to him, sitting over here on the side of my, So, I'm really impressed with it, Rob. To be fair, I really am. I think it's a cracking one. What I will need to say though is we do need to do the Sports Direct. We do need to do the
big bucket type
swimming pool-esque cups, because that's what I tend to drink out of. If I'm going to I'm going to go for about 36 of these a day, whereas the other one, So we might have to look at investing, even if it's just for us two. We might need to look at investing in a couple of those. Anyway.
Well, once we've road tested them, then the plan is that we're going to put it out to anybody that basically wants to chuck a couple of quid our way and buy a mug off of us.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'll be honest with you. It's something, obviously, you and I have looked into quite gracefully over the last few months. The shirt that you're wearing now, if we can get that in some sort of T-shirts-esque kind of thing, I think that we might, or even just a logo that you've got on your arm, kind of, as a badge there. Yeah, exactly, Andy. A proper cup of tea. But yeah, that's going forward. We're looking to branch out, shall we say? And I'm pretty sure this is why you keep coming in with the introductions like you do, sounding like Del Boy, because
don't know what you mean.
That you're looking for. No, I can't imagine.
Don't know what you mean. No idea. No idea.
No.
Should we start talking about the match now, Duke? We're nearly 11 minutes in.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Listen, guys, you know how it rolls. We ain't got a script, and we go off on tangents left, right, and centre. Let's talk about the football. Okay, let me get rid of that banner. Hang on, there we go, and I'll get rid of that one as well. That was the starting lineup. Now, on various publications that are out there on the World Wide Web, Google, it seems to suggest that we were playing a 4-2-3-1, but it's been suggested that we didn't start off 4-2-3-1, and we started off with a back five, which went really well for the first 20 minutes, didn't it, Duke?
I mean, I know you're being facetious.
No.
But I still want to read through the screen and poke you in the eye with my pen. Like, it wasn't just bad, Rob. It was poor. Let's not mess around. I mean, you and I stood there, I potted around, spoke to a couple of other people during the first half, and it really wasn't pretty, and it was akin to a West Ham of old. To be fair,
yeah.
And I was really, I've got no pocket up there. I was really concerned with where it was going inside the first 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I spoke to you last night, and it just, I was embarrassed. Concerned. It really did look like we'd really reverted back to top. And the first goal in there, and I've obviously spent some time on social media over the last 24 hours, and be grateful, Andy.
You
be grateful, mate.
You probably got the good end of the deal. First 20 minutes, we were shocking.
Oh, it was diabolical.
Steve,
the attacking players couldn't put their foot on the ball to keep possession.
Yeah.
The back 4, 5, 6, whatever you want, were
I didn't think it was as many as that. I think that the Genk players could have drove a London bus through our back line.
Oh,
a bit so big with the gaps.
No, listen, the back six, and I include Declan Rice and Mark Noble in that equation, just because they are the back six defending six on that pitch. And they it was hoofing. At one point, I know we tried to play a pass out, pass it around that 6-yard box, and I was like, what are you doing? That's where you put your foot through it. When you are 20 yards away from your goal, stop lugging it forward and hoping Antonio is going to be on the end of it, because you're not putting anywhere near him. And it was, Steve there says we look like a local pub side. To be honest with Steve, I think that is a compliment to how we played last night. There seemed to be absolutely zero communication between the back 4, 5, 6, whatever you want to call it. There was no shape. It was really painful to watch. Even after 20 minutes, when they realised that they were in for a hiding when they came off the pitch at half time. I think they realised, shit, we've got to buck our ideas up here. And mate, it was painful. It was painful to watch, I've got to say, and I didn't enjoy that experience in the slightest.
Here's a question for you, Duke, from Sharky. Who do you blame for that first goal? Goalkeeper or defence?
I don't blame the defence, and I don't blame the goalkeeper.
Okay.
I blame a single person for it, and I blame Issa Diop. That's it. You can say that Lawson got pulled across.
It was a clever run from Pansil, to be fair. I watched it again.
It was a fantastic run, but he switched off. Diop switched off. He didn't have the mindset to be aware of that run in behind him. And let's be honest, that ball is only being played for one goddamn reason, and that's because there is a player running in behind you, and it's not a player that stood out in the first game. It's not a player that we all have been talking about as, oh my God, is their goal threat? Oh my God, like this guy made a generic run, Rob. It's the only way I can describe it. He made a generic forward type run, and Diop was switched off. I know.
Great ball by Ito, to be fair, though, wasn't it? I thought he looked decent.
It was a fantastically weighted ball. Ito, again, looked absolutely outstanding tonight. And for me, was there or thereabouts for man of the match at the end of the game. I thought he had an absolutely terrific performance. With your hands over your face and your face buried into a pillow. Diop all day long. He switched off. Yeah. He's culpable for that goal. That's it. Listen, Areola got down and, oh my word, fireworks.
Set the dog off.
Areola got down well, got a good hand to it. I just think that the power behind the shot, and there did seem to be a bit of power behind that shot, was too much for him, and I don't blame him in the slightest. You know, I've seen some stuff on social media, on Twitter, where people are blaming his positioning. If he'd been, 6 inches. What 6 inches? Well, I'll answer that. But what 6 inches in the grand scheme of things for a goalkeeper in his positioning? 6 inches is a spring, isn't it? And he got down well. I'm not going to say he didn't get a solid hand to it, and unfortunately it went in. And rightly so. Even after 20 minutes, I know the first goal came after 4, wasn't it? Even after 20 minutes, they were good for that lead, Rob, wouldn't they? To be fair.
Well, I mean, our best player up to in the first half, I thought, was Areola. I mean, he made a he made a save in the 9th minute where he tipped it over for a corner. He made a save on minute 12 as well, and I think he made a save in minute 42, if I remember correctly.
Listen, I'm going to accuse you of having this written down in a minute if you're reading it off of Google. Because
don't know what you mean. Don't know what you mean.
Listen, I know your mindset, mate. You ain't. Listen, getting to your age, the old brain starts to tick away, son. I know you ain't remembered that. Behave yourself.
I've got it on my screen. I've got, I've got to have. When you get to my age, you've got to have these little reminders. You can't remember stuff as well as you used to. You wait. You're only a couple of years behind me, sunshine. It'll come to you.
Behave yourself. A couple of years.
Yeah. But it was concerning. That first 20 minutes was, like you said, I mean, it was the West Ham of old. It was the West Ham under Pellegrini with no defensive structure, no organisation, quite unlike what David Moyes has fostered within this last 18 months. And I bet when he got his players in there at half-time, I mean, Steve said it on the Have Your Say episode that we put out this morning. He said it, I'd imagine that David Moyes was absolutely furious, and I think that's probably understating it, quite honestly. I bet he chucked teacups around and everything.
Well, as long as they're not ours.
So I was just going to say, so long as they weren't these babies. Cheers, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to yours and Steve's thoughts this morning, and I wrote on the page, all valid points.
Yep.
Some people saying something, some people saying others, and I disagree with a lot that was said on other channels and on social media from other West Ham fans. Andy's got a comment there, and I don't tend to disagree with what he's saying.
What about Mass?
About Mass. I mean, I love Mass, and I really want Mass to be the one. But he's right in what he says. At the moment, he holds on to the ball too much, and for some reason, Moyes is having trouble coaching that out of him. He really is, and it's frustrating because he could be a really good attacking an attacking winger kind of thing, out on that left hand side because he's got all the tricks and he can beat people for fun. But unfortunately, when it comes to releasing the ball at the right time or picking the right pass, it's sad, because I like I say, I think he's got all the ability to be a great player. I mean, if you could go back to the team's games here, I just want to do a quick.
What, our team or theirs?
Yeah, please. I just want to do a quick. I mean, if I had to rate those players there based on a first half performance, not one of them. Well, let me rephrase that. Not one outfield player would have got more than a 4 from me. And I know that's harsh, but not one of them. Areola, I would have probably given an 8 to. He's conceded a goal, but he's made some great saves. I personally, not one of those players out there would have got more than a 4 from me in the first half. I thought they were shocking.
I'd like to say that I disagree with you, but I don't. I thought we were absolutely pathetic like I say, predominantly in that first 20-minute spell. I just thought we were absolutely, and had it not been for Alphonse Areola, that game could have been over after 20 minutes. We could have been 3-0 down, 4-0 down, and there's no coming back from that. Absolutely none. But looking at the stats, which I did after the match, I know sort of like you said, and you set your stall out before a ball had been kicked in this group and said you would be, hang on. What's this? Got to go. 20 years of marriage. Congratulations, mate. Yeah, you might have got less for murder, but good luck to you, mate.
In the post, Steve, as a 20-year a 20-year anniversary present, mate, there's going to be one of these lovely bad boys on their way to you.
We'll keep you a mug aside, mate. Don't worry.
We'll get you a mug. That'll be our anniversary present to you from us here at Forge.
yeah, absolutely. It's what he's always wanted. When he took his wedding vows 20 years ago, he said, I want one day to have a Forged from Iron mug, even though there was no such thing as Forged from Iron then. But he's a very forward-thinking man.
He is. He knows what's happening in the future. I'm asking him tomorrow for the next week's lottery tickets.
But I mean, sort of like the match, I thought was. Hang on. She could have killed me and been out twice. Right. That is true. She could have claimed it was self-defense, Steve. But don't go giving her ideas. Anyway, so that was the first half. We got in 1-0. He's changed things around. Made a few little sort of like tweaks. And in the 58th minute, made a triple substitution. A triple substitution, ladies and gentlemen. David Moyes is often accused of not making substitutions at the right time. And I think that on occasion it has been a valid observation, criticism, call it as you wish. Yesterday, he made a triple substitution on minute 58. And hindsight's always perfect vision, but I think you can look at that substitutions now and hello. Look at this. Sharky. Oh my goodness, you didn't have to do that. Oh my word. Oh, thank you so much. Seriously. I mean, we're still getting our head around this, to be honest, because obviously the channel got monetized last Saturday, and we're still getting our head around people in the live chat chucking money at us. It's just really weird. But we seriously, mate, we appreciate it. Thank you. Really do appreciate it.
Unbelievable. Cheers, buddy.
Steve says, Forged from Iron mug, all his dreams come true. Well, it's somewhere where you can put your toothbrushes and things like that, Nice little. And Lawrence is in the building, all the way from Auburn, Alabama. I haven't seen any of his barbecues of late. Anyway, 58th minute, like I say, he made a triple substitution, which now, with the benefit of hindsight, you can look at and go was absolutely the correct substitution to make. And I'm not being funny. The proof is in the pudding. A minute later, what happens? We equalise. Now, all right, it wasn't any of the substitutes that made the goal. It wasn't any of the substitutes that scored the goal. But I do think that looking at the match from that point onwards, that introduction caused a bit of an uplift, a resurgence in our play. Do you not agree?
I mean, yeah. Listen, just the entirety of the second half, we looked better. We looked solid. We looked more like a football team that had actually played together before, rather than a bunch of strangers that have just put on West Ham shirts and gone, go kick the ball around, boys, off you go, thanks very much. And I look at it and I get so frustrated when you look at just two sides of the coin, Rob. And it was really hard to understand. Now, second half, some of the boys were absolutely fantastic. But they couldn't have got any worse. Let's be perfectly honest with you. They couldn't have got any worse. Unfortunately, for Nobes, and I said this to you during the game.
Yep.
He was passed by quite a lot in that game. He was passed by a lot in that game. And that's not any fault of his own. I can guarantee you he spent more time chasing and doing more work off the ball than he probably has done in the entirety of his performances so far this season, because up until the point that he went off, we did a lot of chasing. Yeah. We chased and we spent a lot of time off the ball. So, I mean, it was, listen, great run, great pullback, great goal.
Great pass from Lanzini to find Soufal, wasn't it?
It really was a great ball. Again, something that we've kind of become accustomed to with Lanzini, those sort of passes, you know. And it's great to have him back in the team. Again, he looked a bit ropey at points, but they all did. Not going to tell you, you can't say that they didn't. I'm not going to sit here and essentially blow smoke up the arse of some players just for the hell of it, just because you know, I'm telling you, you know, they did all right in the second half, and we got a result there that was, I think, fair to both sides. Andy's right; they're the best side we've faced in Europe so far.
Oh, absolutely.
In fact, you could probably, Andy, go as far to say they're one of the better sides we've faced all season, when you consider what kind of games we've played. And by that, I don't mean your Cities or, you know, your Uniteds, but, you know, on the whole, they were an well-organised team. And to be fair, they probably gave us a better game and probably had more run of the game than any team we've played against so far this season. They actually took us to task.
They really pushed us, that's for sure. Really made us work.
Yeah.
But part of that, I do sort of sit there and go, if we'd have played, instead of this 5 at the back nonsense, and if we'd have gone our full strength 11, I'm talking Zuma, do you know what I mean? I think that we wouldn't have had that start. I really don't. And that would have been the difference between obviously the point that we got and the 3 points that we could and should have got.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's gone now. And I mean, you know, you said it and I said it. We're in agreement that, yes, and I said it in my piece that, you know, we're third in the league. We're top of our group. But now I have to put that in a box, put that to one side and analyse this match on its own merits. Do you know what I mean? I can sit there and say we've had a great season up to this point, but I can also turn around and say, but on this particular occasion, it wasn't up to our normal standards for that first 20, 30 minutes. And that could have been fatal to our chances. But, you know, we got away with a point. Dinamo Zagreb, unfortunately, because I recorded my piece, it was 1-1 at the time. And I thought, actually, that's a great result for us if that stayed the way it was. But Dinamo Zagreb then went and scored 2 more goals to win that 3-1. But we're through the group. That's definite. It's just a question now of whether we're going to be in this playoff round against the Champions League team or whether we go through to the last 16. So we need to make sure that we get, I think it's at least a point in one of the next 2 games, which we're more than capable of, don't you think?
Oh, I mean, listen. I put on the Your Say thing this morning. It was the first thing I said. I went to bed last night and I woke up this morning and we're still top of our European group. Yep. We're still joint third in the Premier League, albeit on goal difference. What's not to love? Let's not, and I know what you're saying, put that in a box and done, and let's concentrate on this. But all in all, let's not take this game out of context either. It's we're still where we're at. Yep. We're going to listen. We're going to qualify top of this group. There's no 2 ways about it. I really don't think the other teams are going to come at us now. Zagreb picked up the win. Listen, we're facing them at home, and we've been phenomenal at home so far this season. Just as phenomenal as we've been on the road. But listen, we go up against them under the lights in a few weeks' time, knowing that they're really now the only team that can catch us, if my mind serves me. So yeah. We will go against them, knowing that we're going to condemn them to the playoffs, and we're going to avoid some names. Let's not mess around. But one name that I would love to come up against right now, and I said it the other day with you, Gatesy, I want to take on Barca. Can you imagine Barca under the lights at the London Stadium? Can you imagine?
Let's get them in the final. Let's get them in the final.
Nah, let's get it out of the way. Bollocks to them.
Or semi-final. Over 2 legs. Imagine that.
Oh.
Man, that'd be quite good. But the Benrahma goal, the first goal. So Lanzini finds Kufal. Kufal cuts it back. Benrahma. What were your thoughts when that ball slammed into the back of the net? You thinking we're going to go on and win this at that point?
No, my first thought was we conceded one of them against Aston Villa, and it was I kind of looked at it and went, it's that easy, isn't it? It's for all intents and purposes, it's that easy. It's one of them easy goals. I'll tell you what, it's one of them FIFA goals that my controller goes through a wall if I concede. It's a simple goal. He still had work to do. He still had to put it away, but it was an easy goal for him to take. And it's a bread and butter goal for a player of his calibre, his price tag, his wages. He should be sticking them away 10 out of 10. There's no reason they should be. It was an easy goal. He still had the pressure, don't get me wrong, but again, he's a Premier League player that should be dealing with that kind of pressure. It's I'm pleased for him. We were talking, we were talking before the game, Gatesy, weren't we? That we wanted Benny to show up because we think he needed a bit of a confidence boost because he'd
had a couple of quieter games by the standards he'd set at the beginning of the season. That's fair to say.
Yeah, and he needed the game, and he needed the goals he got. Yep. Especially the second one.
Yeah. 82nd minute. That I said it in my piece. In my opinion, I think it was a touch of genius. I thought I loved watching that goal again. When I saw it when it actually happened, I was like, "What? What's he just done?" And then I saw what he did. He's got the defender in front of him. He's knocked the ball one way, ran round the other, accelerated into the box. Keeper again, I look at with a great deal of disdain, and as I said on my piece this morning, I've never seen a goalkeeping manual that says make yourself smaller, and he did. He shrunk. Gave him a big target to aim for at that near post. But that's not Benrahma's problem. I thought he took that goal superbly.
I'm going to talk about the goal, and then I'm going to discuss that comment.
Okay.
I thought the second goal, I wouldn't quite go genius, personally. Okay. It was an amazing goal. But again, it was one of them goals that he probably scores every day in training when you talk about the knock round one side player, go burst a bit of speed. Now, that normally happens in the middle of the park for a midfielder. You kind of put the ball round one side or one of your wingers. That doesn't normally happen in what is considered a quite compact area around the box and bursting into the box. But there isn't a great deal of space before the goalkeeper arrives to greet you. So it was a great goal. I wouldn't quite go as far as a genius bit of play. I certainly wouldn't be comparing him to Eden Hazard or the like, or even the big man himself. And by that I mean God. It was. Listen, it was a great goal. It was a great goal. I'm not going to take it away from him. He's been one of our better players so far this season. He has had 2 or 3 very, very quiet games. Now, I come on to Andy's comment, and then I'll touch on Sharkies at the bottom. That's Darwin's missing link, Sharky. That's Darwin's missing link. First half, Benrahma wasn't even in the game.
I don't think anyone was. You said it yourself.
None of the first team players. Yeah, none of the players in that first half were in the game. We were completely outplayed, outstripped. Now, when Benny came out in the second half, he looked a completely different type of player.
Yep.
And Genk were very, very worried about this different Saeed Benrahma because they were pulling at him. They were breaking his momentum with some niggly little bits of shit. And it frustrated me, but they played the game very, very well with regards to Saeed Benrahma. Now, he fair enough, Andy. I'll let you have that one. He had a tremendous last half an hour. And I mean an amazing last half an hour. Doesn't make up for the previous 60 minutes that came before it because I was incredibly frustrated, not just with him, but with everyone else that was out there, even to the point where I was considering taking him off for Jared Bowen. And leaving Antonio on. I've got to be honest. Now, that's not me dissing Saeed Benrahma. That's not me hating on Saeed Benrahma. That's not me flagging him off or not rating him in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
I'm not saying we should sell him tomorrow. I'm not saying that he's shit. What I'm saying is, up until his first goal, he really didn't look like the Saeed Benrahma that we had against Newcastle. And he set himself that stall. Once the first goal went in, granted, it became the Saeed Benrahma show. And everything he did looked like it was working. Hence the reason for the fouls and the hacking down and the pulling the shirt and basically just trying to knock him off his stride. And fair play, Genk, that's their job at the end of the day if that's how he's going to be. But again, to compare him to Eden Hazard or to call him a god is incredibly far fetched. Yes, he was man of the match, but that goes to show just how piss poor the other players were when Benrahma only played to his strengths for 30 minutes in that game.
But in fairness, and I hear what you're saying, I do disagree with you, with all due respect. but you're entitled to your opinions. I'm entitled to mine, and we'll agree to disagree on this one. I thought he was obviously the reason we got a point. You know, I thought that the first goal, I thought it was great I thought it was great technique. If I'm being honest, I know what you're saying. He should score, but there's many people that in that position don't. They'll hit the goalkeeper, they'll hit the bar, they'll put it over, they'll put it wide, whatever.
Hitting the goalkeeper means the goalkeeper's done his job.
Okay.
Hit a defender means the defender's done their job. That ball should always be on target. You should be missing the target from there. If it goes in, you've done your job. If it
but you're not going to be human if you hit it 100% of the time, Duke. You're not human if you do that. And don't forget, it may well be that behave yourself. But I mean, it's like you said, sort of like. I think you said about the second goal, didn't you? That, he probably scores a goal like that in training. But there's a world of difference between doing it in training when you're not really going to be going at full tilt and doing it in a Europa League game when the score's lucked at 1-1 with 8 minutes left. Would you say that's fair?
Repetition. I agree with you, and the pressure there is different. But it's repetition. If you do the same thing over and over again, it becomes second nature. It's second nature to him by now, and that's why he probably does it all the time in training. Listen, I'm not slagging him off, and I'm not. I've said I agree with the fact that he got man of the match and probably deserved man of the match. I think Ito of Genk was a very close second.
Yeah.
But I just think we need to. We need to put the brakes on the hand pumping and just maybe take off the Benrahma tinted glasses a little bit and let's just let him play for the time being. This is going to be his first full season as a main, as a headline character, if you will. So, let's see where he goes with this. Let's see what he does.
Okay. I got some. I don't know whether this is going to change your perspective. I got some of Saeed Benrahma's stats in front of me. Would you like to hear them?
Yeah, go on.
5 shots, 3 on target, 3 key passes, 92.7% pass accuracy. He had 68 touches. He made 3 key passes, 7 dribbles. He was fouled 3 times. He was caught offside twice, dispossessed once, 4 unsuccessful touches. He made 2 tackles and he made 41 passes and put in 1 cross, which was accurate, 1 long ball, which was accurate, and 1 through ball, which was accurate. Now, I'm going from the Who Scored website. They give him a rating, and it's quite unusual to see a rating like this. So I've got to be honest, it caught my attention. They've rated him at 9.58 out of 10. Has any of that changed your mind?
Nope.
Okay.
I watched the game, and I watched the game with a Jesus Christ. I watched the game with a decent head on my shoulders. I watched it as a West Ham fan. Let's not mess around. So when I'm watching it as a West Ham fan, I'm looking I'm looking at the West Ham players first and foremost. And listen, I'm not disagreeing that he didn't have a man of the match performance. He had a man of the half hour performance, which just goes to show you just how badly the rest of them played. He will be a key figure for us for the rest of the season. He will become a great for West Ham if he continues on the path that he is on. But right now, he still has a lot to learn. He still has a lot to achieve, shall we say. And there you go. I'm going to keep my feet grounded with a young man. And I'll tell you why I'm going to keep my feet grounded with a young man is I'll be honest with you. And this is part of the reason why, and maybe this will allow people to understand where I'm coming from, and maybe change their mind on the fact that they see it as hate. A few years ago, back in the 90s, I fell in love with a player, and I mean, like early 2000s, fell in love with a player. Absolutely fell in love with a player. I don't know, Paolo Di Canio. Okay. And I mean, fell in love with Paolo Di Canio. This man was possibly one of the most naturally talented, gifted individuals, most passionate human being that I've ever seen play for my club. He was amazing. I fell in love with him. He was he was a man crush of mine. And I mean, I was gutted I didn't get to meet him personally. Hopefully, I will one day. And he's this great in my eyes. I such high esteem I hold this man. And then a few years ago, along came another tremendously gifted player.
I know, yeah.
And again, I fell in love with this player. Naturally talented, passionate, amazing on the ball, fantastic. And he broke my heart.
Ian Dowie.
What a gorgeous man. He broke my heart. He actually broke my heart because I loved him.
He broke a few mirrors.
Yeah. Pyatt broke my heart. I loved him as much as I loved Di Canio at the time he was at the club, and for what he did for the club. He played like Di Canio. He had this amazing ball control. Now, my problem is, he broke my heart. He left and went like he did. Di Canio, it wasn't his fault. He left, but it took me a little bit of time to get over the fact that he did leave and went to Charlton. It hurt. It hurt. Now, I can see that Said Benrahma is a naturally talented player. I can see that Benrahma will become an amazing player going forward. Lawrence, behave yourself. I don't want to give myself to say Benrahma.
I'll come back to the comments in a minute.
Yeah, I don't want to give myself in that way. I've learnt my lesson the hard way now, and I refuse to give myself over to a player like that, this maverick, this amazingly talented player, because I got burnt a few years ago.
So it's a case of twice bitten, thrice shy, if you will.
Yes, basically. So okay. I'm not gonna give myself. Listen, he's gonna have to do something exponentially top draw for me to go. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
When is the Premier League?
Listen, if he wins,
have an Aguero moment.
Listen, if he wins us a trophy this year in any way, shape, or form, then yes, he goes up there with those two players. I mean, this man here, I hold in the highest of esteem.
Yes.
This man here. And for anyone watching, the 7 that are in there, and anyone that watches this afterwards, I've got an hour and 24 1 day and 24 hours, 23 hours, 60 minutes, or 60 minutes. 23 hours, 16 minutes left on something on eBay. Please leave it the fuck alone.
Go on. What is it? Come on. Spill the beans.
It's the Canning Town Len. It's the Canning Town Len. Julian Dix. A picture. The drawing signed by Julian Dix. From the Spurs. The
4-3 game.
The penalty with the
Ian Walker was in goal.
The wind. The wind. Oh,
I remember that.
If I remember rightly, was that in around the time that David Howes one of his parents had passed away?
I think it was his dad.
And he scored, and then he gave away the Julian Dix penalty. And the only time I've ever felt sorry for a Spurs player was because he gave that penalty away. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Anyone else could have given that away and I wouldn't give him a shit.
Yeah.
But I've bid on that. So please leave it alone because it will look absolutely amazing up here with the signed Di Canio shirt, the Di Canio Dix shirt, the Terminator. See, it will go amazingly with this. So please leave it alone, and I'll be a happy man. You'll see after after the Liverpool game. If I'm a happy man, then you'll know.
But surely when the Ben Rama goal, the second goal, went in on 82, you must have thought that was game over. How did you feel 5 minutes later?
Well,
yeah.
See, hang on, I'm just replying something.
You guys in the live chat, I'm not ignoring you, but we'll come to the comments in a minute. We're just having.
Fine. I'm just replying to.
Okay.
Listen, you know I had a bet.
Yep.
And I could have cashed out. Now it was only 25 quid, and I put my, it was only a £5 bet, but I didn't cash out because I was there. I was like, oh man, no job done, innit? Like, whee. That was how I felt at that moment in time. I was just like, but what a header! Oh my! I tell you now, if that had been at the other end of the pitch, we would have been going batshit. Like, oh, what a finish!
We did go batshit, but batshit in a bad way.
No, see, I didn't. I actually felt that. I'm gonna bid a bit more. Hang on, bastards. I actually felt that that Genk deserved it, mate. To be honest with you, I don't doubt that Genk were the better side of deserving of a point, for want of a better word. They actually dominated large portions of that game. So in interest of being fair, they deserve that point, and there's nothing you can do about that. Nothing you
when
can
you
say.
Look at
Nothing
all
you
the
can
stats.
do. It was a just equaliser. The defenders, and I've seen people slag this man off for this goal. I have seen fans. Yes, I have seen fans on Twitter, gentlemen with the handle something Crosswell, if I remember rightly, and I'm
not Aaron Crosswell.
It might be Aaron Crosswell. That might be his name. Listen, that might be his handle on Twitter. He said that he basically called Souček a clown.
Okay,
this
that's
man
interesting.
doesn't know how to pass, doesn't know how to play football, doesn't know how to pass, and doesn't know how to not put the ball in his own net. And he called him a clown. And like he's been called out several times on Twitter by, "Hey, Kieran, enough already with your bullshit. All right."
Is he bidding on it?
No, he's just told me that I won Southgate's race. Listen, I know people were defending him, and people called this fan out, and it was amazing to see that the West Ham fans had rallied. Now, as I said in my Have Your Say, Gatesy, I said that he was committed. He threw himself into that ball, thinking he's going to knock that out of play. It's job done. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, he didn't get the call from behind from the goalkeeper to say, no one behind you, let it run, let it go, doesn't matter, I'll claim it. He didn't get that call. So he's gone in for the header to clear it. Now, regardless of what happened, it is what it is, and you've got to let that go. But he committed, and that cross came in, and he's thrown himself at it. As I said, I used to play at a good level, not that I talk about it much, but I used to play at a good level. And I played as a centre-back, and you put your head there to clear that ball. It's what you're taught. So he's done his job, essentially, but unfortunately, it's gone wrong this time. He might do that another 10, 15 times so far this season, and the ball will go out for a corner. It's just that one time that, it's gone in the back of the net, and then there are fucking idiots that have decided to come out and pretty much out a player that, hands down, last season was one of our best, if not our best.
Yeah, and he's had a dip, but all players have dips.
As someone said, he's got enough in the bank for that goal for me. He's got enough credits in the bank that I'm not going to hold that against him.
No. No. Before I'm going to go back to the comments because I want to. There was a comment there from Sharky that I want to get your opinion of. Before we do, just guys, don't ever mention to Duke 1999 playoff game between Gillingham and Man City. Yeah, see the look on his face. See what I've done to him. Just the mere mention of it. So guys, don't do it. Don't do it. So Sharky wanted to know, what did you think of Kufal?
Listen, Ben Johnson is he's nailed on as our first choice centre back right now, and Sufal is lucky that we are still competing on four fronts for me, because it means he's going to get game time in the he's going to get game time in these cups. You know, if Johnson plays in the quarter final against Spurs, then Sufal may well get the next start, because you don't want to burn Johnson out, although he's young. But Johnson at the moment is having a season like Sufal did when he first came, and for me, he has that locked in, and that is his position right now. Like I say, Sufal is lucky that he's going to get a he's going to get runs in the cup games, because otherwise he wouldn't get a start for me. He wouldn't get a look in. I think Ben Johnson has that absolute on lockdown.
Fair enough.
Stop bidding. Someone has bid. There's one bid I think gone in. Pretty sure I was at 41.
Staying with this particular competition, Duke, which we'll talk about the Liverpool game when we do the pre-match, which I think we're going to do tomorrow. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we'll stay with this competition for now. Our next game is on the 25th of November when we travel to the fair city of Vienna to play Rapid Vienna. I didn't really think they were all that in the game we played at London Stadium, if I'm being honest. And they're bottom of the group. We should at least get a point there, surely.
Listen, I'm not even talking about points for you, Casey. I'm literally going to talk to you about where we're going to win that game, regardless of what team he puts out. Now, you people might call for him to go out and put out the strongest side possible. Now, it just depends on really who we've got in the Rob, they're doing it. Tell them.
Stop it. Children. Children, stop it.
Yeah, regardless.
Don't mention Paul Dickov.
PTSD on that guy. You know that, didn't you?
I know.
That last minute bastard. You know damn well if I had been playing, look, you'd have had him.
You'd have had him.
See what you've done.
During the war.
I have no doubt I would have broke that. Anyway.
I'll tell you what. There might be people here, Duke, that are sitting there going, "What the fuck is he on about?" Go on, tell them.
No, listen to these flashbacks, mate. I don't.
Yes, you do. You tell me it all the bloody time.
I could have been playing for Gillingham in that game. There you go. That's that word for you. Is that all right? I could have been. It's one of them.
Could have been a contender.
I could have been. If it weren't for the knee injury, I could have been. It is what it is. Let's move on. I don't listen. I don't. It doesn't bother me that I didn't. It's just that game holds kind of that special place in the pit of my stomach, because it could have been one that I could have made a difference to. Probably wouldn't have done, but I could have made a difference if I'd been there. So it's one of them ones that I hold dear, because it breaks my heart, because that pretty much was the beginning of the fight back for City, wasn't it? You know what I mean? If that had happened, if Gillingham had won that, then I'm not saying Gillingham would be any better than they are now, but that was the beginning of the rebirth for City. That's when they started to come back and do. So it was kind of a kick in the teeth. Thank you. kind of a kick in the teeth that I wasn't a part of it. I mean, it would have been an amazing thing to have been a part of, but fate wasn't to be. And if I had continued with what I'd done, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have met my lovely partner. I wouldn't have had the two fantastic kids we've got. I wouldn't have my pub that I have now. So, in hindsight,
probably wouldn't have met me either.
I wouldn't be doing YouTube. Wouldn't be doing Force from Iron and talking to you gorgeous 9 people in the chat. Leave eBay alone. That's all I'm saying. Good, we're still there. So it's yeah. Where were we? Ben Johnson, he's got him nailed down. It's his, as far as I'm concerned. I don't see.
I don't think Kufel had a bad game, though.
I thought he was ropey at points.
Okay.
I think he looks off the boil, Gacy. I think he looks like he needs more minutes, and the problem is those minutes are only going to come in these last 2 Europa League games. Really, when you think that if we do now come up against no, I'll be in America, mate. Now I would have retired and been in America.
He'd be with Lawrence.
But no, I'd be
for a barbie.
I'd be on the East Coast, East Coast in Boston with me, with me sports bar in Boston. I think it's right round the corner from Fenway Park. That's where I'd be. No, see, Sufal is only going to get a run out in these next 2 games, guaranteed, because against Spurs in the quarter-final of the League Cup, you've got to go with a strong side. They're looking strong now with Conte. They beat a team that they lost to last night. So again,
they didn't look all that clever. I mean, they had Romero sent off, didn't they?
Yeah, listen, it's his first game.
He's not going to. And it took a while at Chelsea.
Yeah, listen, we work with the players maybe a day. So it'll come, and they're going to be a completely different prospect than they were with Nuno in charge when we go up against him in the quarter-final. Because let's be honest, he's going to want to win that trophy just so he can behave your blood. Listen, I like it. Like you, Andy. Right.
Keep poking him with sticks, Wolfie. He loves it. He loves it.
Twitter unfollow. You're going to play your strongest team against Spurs. You're going to play your strongest team against. Oh, go on, Freddie Sears. Love Freddie Sears. Strongest team against.
That's a fairly local game, that, isn't it? Because Sudbury's only in Suffolk, which is just over the border.
Colchester's less than an hour away in the car.
Yeah, they're not too far away from one another. As the crow flies.
Is it a Visa home? Is it the Visa home stadium? It's an absolutely stunning stadium.
Just off the A12.
Off the A12, stunning stadium, absolutely stunning. Drive past it when I got to Clacton quite often. So Sufal's not going to find. Yeah, exactly right. Sufal's going to find the. There's nothing in it. I'm pretending it's
mine's run dry. Look.
He's only got these next 2 games really to find match fitness before he falls by the wayside, if you will. Because Ben Johnson's going to have that wrapped up. If you come up against a Barcelona in the last 16 of the Europa League, if you come up against one of the Champions League sides that fell out, that maybe not Sharif, but then I'm not being funny. They turned over
Madrid, didn't they?
Inter and Real in the early games of the Europa Champions League. You're going to play your strongest sides for the last rounds of the cup. So Sufal's then going to be looking. Maybe he's only got these 2 games against Vienna and Zagreb guaranteed, and then he's going to be looking at maybe stepping into the league if Johnson's going to be tired. So he hasn't got long. He hasn't got long to get that fitness back and prove that he can come back in and do the job. Because at the moment, all I want to see is more Ben.
What about this question from Sharky? Do you think Moyes should keep swapping the two goalkeepers, or should he stop? He says he's not sure he should keep doing it. Interesting. Because I guess if you're a goalkeeper, you want to play every game, don't you? It's not like an outfielder. You don't really need that much rest if you're a goalkeeper, do you?
Yes and no.
Okay.
To his question. To your question, no. You know, goalkeepers could quite easily. This is why goalkeepers, up until recently, were able to. Well, you only got to look at Buffon playing still into his 40s. You know, Neville Southall played into his 40s. Goalkeepers
Mark
can go on
Schwarzer.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen. There is a option to buy or an obligation to buy, one of the two, on Areola, I believe, based on league appearances.
Okay.
So if you can yawn out loud, Rob, if I'm boring you, it's fine.
No. I thought I suppressed it, but
so
I should have muted.
It's
been a long week.
Yeah, hasn't it? It's been horrible. If that is the case, then that's why he's not playing him in the league.
Oh. One of these?
Oh, it's on its way. Yeah, I'll take it. Take it. Yeah, come, grab it.
Oh, that sounds like a good deal, actually.
I've got a banging deal. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, hello! Look who's turned up. Look at this.
They rock up now, don't they, Aaron?
Look at these two stragglers.
Let's just show them. Yeah.
And on the other side, you got that QR code. We're down with the kids.
If it is the case, and
oh, look. Here he goes. He's got the begging bowl out
with postage and packaging. I've forgotten. Lost all track of Debrief.
Areola.
See, I don't think it will, Luke. I think that I think the deal is structured in our favour, from what I understand, anyway. And this is listening to other channels and certain comments on social media. Is the deal is structured massively in our favour. If he plays something like 2025. I've got two. Luke, behave yourself.
It's probably fairly
it's accurate. In our favour, I believe it's 25, or it might be 25 league games, and I believe it's a 15 or 16 million pound.
You're forgiven.
Congratulations.
You're forgiven.
I think it's a 15 or 16 million pound upfront fee for Areola, and then there is obviously stuff linked to bonuses. But from what I understand, it's linked heavily. It's massively in our favour. Apart from the 25 league games, now that's more than half of our league games. And when you look that Dawson was down, if he starts 12, they'll be signing. This is significantly more. This is more than half of our league games. And when you consider that we're getting to that point, or we're past that point, actually.
We've played 10 matches in the Premier League.
Right, so we've got
28 left.
So we've got 3 left that we are throwaways, if you will, for the Areola deal.
Yeah. You think they're not gonna chuck him in until sort of like he's got 24 games left? Do you think they're going to be a bit tactical?
Did we not do that with?
That's a great film.
Good shout. Did we not do that with one of the strikers? Was it Chit, or was it one of the lone strikers? Where if we had if he played one more game, we had to pay something like another £1 million for someone. Was it Perez? No, what was his name? Yeah, Perez. Arsenal, ex-Arsenal player.
Yeah, Lucas Perez.
Lucas Perez. I think that was part of his deal, which is why we stopped playing him.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that rings a bell. Actually, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's heavily in our favour because I think a £16 million deal for Areola is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
What
When
about
you
though?
consider,
I'm going to throw a little bit of a conspiracy theory at you. Do you think Areola is actually a bit of a ruse, and that the real target is actually Sam Johnstone of West Brom? He was actually, yes, he did actually sign
yeah,
permanently.
I think because it was based on appearances, we had to pay out another £1 million. I think it was to Arsenal.
Oh, there was an extra.
There was an extra add-on, if you will.
Okay.
I believe is what that deal was. Listen, I would have taken Sam Johnstone at the start of the season alongside Areola, or instead of Areola. It wouldn't have bothered me. I know a lot of Arsenal fans were, why the fuck have we signed Ramsdale? And then against Leicester, it was literally that kind of fest. But much like the same as I've witnessed already today.
It's on the bottom. It's on the bottom of the screen. It's at Forge from Iron. All one word.
Little TikTok dance there for you. So I would love to see us sign either or. I think Sam Johnston's a good goalkeeper, but I would personally prefer Areola. But if we got Johnstone, I wouldn't be too unhappy. I don't think he's a bad goalkeeper.
Final thoughts on the match last night, Duke, before we wrap it up?
We have to.
Just before you do, as far as I know, there's only two. There was one that my daughter set up, and then she forgot the password, so that one's just floating around doing nothing. But the one that's on the ticket at the bottom,
changed from her name, was it?
Yes.
That's like 46,000 followers.
Yeah, more than we've got. I know. I wasn't very happy when she told me she'd forgotten the password, and apparently she's
recovery on the password.
No, because she'd set it up with a mate, and she's now not talking to that mate. So it's a little bit, So so the TikTok is at Forge from Iron, all one word. So cheers, Simon.
Yeah,
every little helps.
Simon's only got it so we can do the dances on there. I reckon we're going to see him do the Neon Moon one. I can see it happening.
I am not
dancing. If you're not sure what the Neon Moon one is, guys, you just I think it's hashtag Brooks and Dunn Neon Moon, and you'll find it. It's very basic. I think you'll be able to pull it off. I've just kind of done it there, and it's that's all it is. It's quite easy. Final thoughts. I think it was a thoroughly deserved point for Genk. I think
whatever. I mean, I don't mind. Oh, hang on. What's this? Forge from Iron or Forge from Iron _ I think that's the one that my daughter set up. Yeah, Forge from Iron _ WHU. That's the one that my daughter set up with a mate of hers. And then I can't remember sort of like how it came about. I took over it, but she was running it. And then she fell out with her mate and forgot the password. And so then I had to set up the other one, Forge from Iron. So.
Brilliant.
I don't know this one, Forge from Iron .WHU. Maybe it's a clone. I don't know.
Andy, we'll hit you up with that. What you're saying there, mate. I want 17,000 followers because then we'll just.
She's up high.
We'll start linking the YouTube channel in and see if we can get in there. But can I just touch on the last comment from Sharky before I do my final?
That one. Yeah, I'd rather he wasn't.
I worked out. I think he's flying something like close to 17,000 miles across the 3 or 4 across the 3 or 4 flights that he's got to do. I think he's got a fly to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Then he's got to fly to the USA. Then he's got to fly back from I believe it's the USA. Then he's got to fly back. So I think it's something like 6.5, 7,000 miles there. Another 825 to the US, and then it's something like 7.5, 8,000 miles back. So it's there's some significant lag in that jet lag. But with regards to his hamstrings, at the end of the day, it's up to him to manage them. It's up to him to turn around and say, when he gets back from these, boss, I just don't think I can play. That then becomes an issue because we should have really got someone in that can do the job. I'm sick and tired of seeing Yama go up there. He doesn't offer us anything. I'm sick and tired of seeing Bowen go up there because he's not as physical as Antonio, so his hold-up play isn't as good as what it should be. So, it's frustrating. I'd love to see him just turn around and go, but he's not going to. So we're just going to have to manage him as best we can. Give me 2 seconds, Rob.
Okay. I'm just going to wind back because there was a comment that you put in, Lawrence. Pre-game show, I've got absolutely no idea. Apologies for my dog, fireworks, you know the drill. We haven't set a time for it yet. Duke and I will probably be discussing that shortly. But obviously, you guys know that obviously Duke does the job that he does. His time is quite limited. So we try and get both of us on where possible. There are some times, as you know, that it's me and a +1 or me on my own or whatever. So we just try and make it work as best as we can. But Duke and I are going to talk about what time we're going to do the pre-match show, which will go out tomorrow at some time. But obviously Duke's got the thing that we was talking about earlier with the pub. So I don't know whether we're going to do it before he gets on with that. We'll talk about that later.
I tell you what, Rob. Let me tell you what. Give me what I'm thinking about tomorrow is.
I'm happy to do it early if you want. Doesn't bother me.
Well, I was thinking because obviously I want to try and keep as many of these lovely people to join us and be part of it. So I'm I am thinking more towards lunchtime-esque, if you will.
Okay.
Maybe I say lunchtime, maybe a late lunch, maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Okay.
So then I've got time to get it all kicked up and started. And for those of you who joined late, I'm having a Care for Veterans day in my pub. We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of raffles. We've got a lot of uniforms and weapons and hopefully vehicles that are going to be at the pub. We are having Frank Harper of Football Factory Lock, Stock and Snatch fame at my pub. I was going to try and get a little soundbite with him, but I understand that he is a staunch Millwall fan. So I might give him a cup to drink out of tomorrow.
He might accidentally drop it.
He might accidentally be broken. But, there's a lot coming on. So if you're local enough and want to come down, please come down. It's a great charity. In fact, the gentleman that helped me set up the day, he unfortunately had a little bit of, thank you, Lawrence. He had a little bit of a breakdown, shall we say. It was his suggestion. He's currently at a military. He's in military care at the moment, or it's not care. He's like He won't mind me saying, he told me to let people know if he couldn't make it tomorrow. He's in like a rehab thing. He had a bit of a PTSD
Yeah.
breakdown, poor bastard. So he's hoping to still be with us tomorrow. But this is the sort of thing that the charity that we're working with tomorrow, this is what they support. They support these hospitals. They support these these support centres. Because they're not affiliated to any kind of government, setup. This is them. This is what they do. They care for veterans. They have their own website. Please go check them out. They do a lot of great work. I'm privileged to be working alongside them tomorrow because 100% of what we fundraise tomorrow goes directly to the veterans themselves. There's none of this bullshit that other certain charities, not mentioning any names, but they take an admin cut from certain fundraising efforts and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Working this is one of the reasons we actually changed the people we were doing the charity for. Actually, because these guys don't take a cut. Everything that we raise goes over. So we kind of set ourselves a target of between 500 and £1,000. I'd love to absolutely smash that out of the water and knock the granny out of that and end up at 15 to 2.5. But if we can do something, it's going to be more money than they started the day with. We're going to do it every year. So this is the first. This is the first of what's going to be an annual thing. We're going to hold it the Saturday before Remembrance Sunday every year. So next Sunday is Remembrance Sunday officially, and obviously there's going to be a lot going on that weekend with regards to Remembrance Sunday. So we're always going to hold it the Saturday of the week before, and we're looking to do it every year. So again, you guys in the chat, if you know of anyone or anything that you'd like to throw our way, and offer to help with or something along them lines, then just let me know. Twitter, you've got my handle on here as well. You can DM us through the Facebook and the Twitter page for Forged as well. So it's just like I say, we're looking to make it an annual thing. I'm hoping to try and make it the big annual thing in the local area in Kent. This is where people come. We've got military vehicles. We've got Siobhan Terrell and Mark Smith from the Antiques Roadshow doing free appraisals on anything military. So it'll be a cracking day. I'm really looking forward to it. Anyone that's local enough and wants to come, please join me. I know Rob's going to try and come up as well for a bit tomorrow. So we're looking for a good evening, a good day. Oh, I've been visited.
Logan,
he's eating an ice cream.
Is he? What flavour?
Yes, look.
Oh, it's a lolly,
like a Magnum.
Like a Magnum, yeah.
Magnum. It is a Magnum. Can you not try and get it on my
Very
way?
nice.
That would be amazing.
Did have you put one aside for me, Logan?
Oh.
Am I?
A spare one. Ice cream.
Where's mine?
You got a spare one for Rob to eat? Yes, he says you've got one. It's in the freezer.
Good lad. Well done. I'll grab it from you tomorrow. Have you been a good boy? Have you eaten all your greens?
It's not your chair. He don't eat greens. He's a rat. Can you stop pulling on my chair? Your chair's at the top of the stairs. Get out of it. I'm doing a live stream. Everyone's going to be looking at you going, what's that kid eating ice cream before bed?
I haven't had dinner yet.
You haven't had dinner yet? You now make me sound like a bad father. Been to a birthday party, so,
That's allowed. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Before we go, did you see this story about a fan that went to the game last night, lost a finger? You did hear that, didn't you?
Gatesy, right? It got shared in my boys' chat.
Yeah.
Right? I think did I show you? I showed you, didn't I? Did I show you last night, or did I show everyone else?
No, I don't think you did.
God. Talk about taking Halloween too far. And I guarantee you, his missus is going to be well pissed off when he gets home, because I don't know what finger it was, but she's a bit like blue. No, mate, what the like this is the thing, right? because these fences are still part and parcel of European football, aren't they? Which we had removed after. Please don't put it up. Okay, I thought you could put a picture up. I'll just say. Obviously, some European stadiums still have the fences, don't they?
Yeah.
Separating the block. We removed them after Hillsborough, and obviously this guy has jumped up to grab. And obviously, as he's come back, it may well be the ring finger. As he's caught it, it's actually my concern is that it's obviously dislocated at the knuckle. Careful where you go with this, Rob, because I go on. You might as well. It's coming up on 9 o'clock.
You sure? I don't want you throwing up live stream. They've pixelated it out.
Pixelated it. So it looks like it's been dislocated at the second knuckle.
Yeah.
It looks like it's been. See, my concern is the bone still in there, the top, and it's been broken off at the knuckle, or is there some random currently walking around Belgium with a stripped finger and from the second knuckle up it's just bone, like a skeletal pirate ship kind of grabby handy. It's wrong. That's all I'm saying. Right? Yeah. There's no need. But obviously he's jumped up, celebrated, and he's caught it, and it's
a bit gruesome, isn't it?
It was. Are you trying to show everyone your dinosaur balloon? Sorry, guys, let out.
Yeah, why not?
These are also on sale tomorrow. We're doing these for £3, £4 for the bigger ones. All proceeds go to charity. They're like little diners. They got legs. They weigh down, so you can you walk them like a pet. Get out of it.
Before we wrap up, guys, I promise we will bugger off in a minute. I'm just going to get this one out there. You might have seen the little thing that we do, the Have Your Say thing, and we've had various people getting involved. We've had my brother, we've had friends, we've had channel contributors, we've had me and Duke, Charlie from Hammers Chat, Titch. Lots of people have contributed. If any of you watching this now, or when someone watching it at a later stage, not live, wants to send us anything, all it needs to be is a 5-6 minute clip, not something sort of too much longer than that. 5-6 minutes, keep it to that. You've got the Forge Talk Twitter handle there. Just DM it across. And no, it was real. It was real, Wally. It was a proper one. Yeah, not nice. Send us across on a Twitter DM to Forge Talk, and we'll include it in one of the Have Your Says. We obviously do it after any of the matches. So we've obviously got the game against Liverpool. So basically at the final whistle, if you want to record something on your phone and get something off your chest, if it's a good result, bad result, somewhere in between, and you just want to give your opinion, please feel free. And if you're a little bit, I'm not too sure if I want people to see my face. Well, guys, Steve 50, do any of you know what he looks like? I edit it out, so don't worry about that.
In all fairness, thankfully, they're going to be grateful for that. I've met Steve in person, and woo! Woo! I mean, I'm not saying Quasimodo. All right.
Mean.
Hey, I said I'm not saying Quasimodo. He doesn't look anything like him.
It's what you're insinuating, you cheeky sod. Right, I'm going to wrap it up.
If you watch this back, I love you. I'm sorry, I'm joking. He's a lovely.
Don't forget, guys, drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel. What are they doing with that bell, Duke?
They're just going to click the bell today, mate. They're not going to do anything violent
You're not going to molest it. You're not going to bash it, wave it around in the air or any of that crap. So, there you go. I'm going to hit the end credits, but before we do, Duke, despite the fact we dropped 2 points yesterday and for the first 20 minutes looked a bit of a shambles, what are we?
Still fucking massive, Rob. Absolutely fucking massive.
Like my mother-in-law. Come on, you Irons!